welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Today's video is a recap of our November 2024 Walt Disney World vacation. As you can see from the background, I still have to film my Disney Parks shopping haul for y'all. I wanted to get this video out before I do that, or before I introduce the vlogs from our trip. I just wanted to do a little bit of a recap with y'all. I'm getting over a cold, so bear with me. I'm filming this on the first day of snow here in Ohio. If you follow me on Instagram, then I posted the first snow of the season there on Instagram stories. So the weather has been chilly here. We went from, on the Saturday that we flew out of Orlando to head home, we went from 86 and we landed and it was 40. So that is a 46-degree difference. And I don't know about other people, but I am somebody that feels not only barometric pressure shifts when it comes to like sinuses and ears. I'm also somebody that feels a shift in weather, and for me personally, my body cannot quickly adjust to such drastic weather weather changes. When we flew to Orlando, we were still having 70-degree weather here. So to come back to a 46-degree difference in weather, yeah, I caught like a sinus, issue going on, and a cold, and I'm finally starting to get over it. So I thought I would pick up the camera and do a recap with y'all. So we had a fabulous time. Now that we're back, I can share with y'all that we went to Walt Disney World between November 8th and November 16th. So we went for 9 days. Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 9 days. 9 days of Disney. That was the longest we ever did. And if you watched my announcement video, I talked to y'all about us doing a little trial on making one day just travel day and leaving later in the day. And what Dan and I found was that we kind of prefer closer to the morning rather than later. So for future flights, I don't know what that necessarily means for us. Would we catch that first morning flight out, or maybe a later in the day, like maybe a 10 or an 11? I don't know. But that much later flight, we were like, if we can probably catch something earlier, that would probably, we would like that more. I believe this flight we took with Delta was 3 or 3:30. I can't remember when our flight took off. I want to say it took off at 3 or 3:30. But if we could do maybe a noon or an 11, that would be great. But we'll see for future. We wanted to give that a little test run there. We had a great time. We got there, and our room was ready, and we checked in. Had no problem booking a dine-in reservation through the My Disney Experience app. I got Ale and Compass over at the Yacht Club. That was our first time booking a dinner reservation there. We have had breakfast there, and we had a breakfast there for this trip also. So for us, that was a new dinner dining experience, and we actually really liked it. We liked the evening atmosphere, and we just enjoyed our meal. We went back to the room, we unpacked, we got settled, we got our refillable mugs, and we just enjoyed the evening. Saturday rolled around. Saturday and Sunday was packed at the parks, but at the same time, we were able to, how can I put this? Everybody has their own viewpoint or perception or opinion on what they think is packed or full or overly crowded. It wasn't super crowded, but when we compare it to later in our trip, those were the two most crowded days, that Saturday and that Sunday. And we spoke to someone on one of the Disney transportations. She was a school teacher, and she was telling us that the week before, we got there, that whole week was considered Jersey week. And she, being a school teacher from New Jersey, she explained all that to us. So the weekend was a little crowded, but we still got on rides and it was great. And then Monday was Veterans Day, and by afternoon it seemed like people had cleared out and the parks weren't as crowded, and we did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, had a great time with that. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in my opinion, in Dan's opinion, the parks and the resort just did not seem as crowded. I want to say the longest ride that we waited on during our stay was Avatar, or, what is it? Pandora, Avatar, Take Flight. That was a 70-minute wait, and it was because it was only operating at half capacity. All other rides throughout our whole stay were no longer than 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I'm going to say 40 minutes. I mean, Rides of the Resistance, I think had like a 40-minute wait, but it didn't even feel that long. Mickey's Railway was like 35 minutes. Tron, we rode that. It wasn't working for the Christmas party, which was very disappointing, but we got up the next morning and we had a late breakfast reservation, so we headed over to the park and got right on it, and got to ride Tron the next morning. But for the most part, a lot of rides were walk-on, believe it or not, and I'm talking about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and part of that Monday. When Friday rolled back around, it kind of started to get a little crowded again, and then Saturday we headed back home here to Ohio. But as far as crowds go, in my viewpoint, it just wasn't overly saturated. Not that there weren't people, but we didn't have to do Lightning Lanes. We didn't have to purchase that extra Lightning Lane premium or anything like that, because the lines for Dan and I, we did not consider a 40-minute wait a long line. I mean, when you're comparing it to, 120 minutes, which, I can remember seeing some of those time slots back in the day. No. If we had little ones and we had young ones, and we knew they wanted to ride very specific rides, then yeah, we probably would have purchased the Lightning Lane or the Lightning Premier. But it was just Dan and I, and we were really in no major rush, and we were just about taking our time, and if we got on something, great. If not, we'll catch it next time. We go to Disney World enough that we don't have to try to fit everything in one visit. So, but we ended up being able to ride the things we wanted to ride, and we didn't mind waiting in line. We love talking to the people in line. They talk to us, we talk to them. And on one of the rides, it happened to be that the couple in front of us with their kids, it was their first time ever. And the couple behind us, it was their first time at Animal Kingdom. So, we got to talk to, different people, and of course different people from different parts of the United States and other parts of the world. So Dan and I never get bored, standing in line. But so as far as crowd goes, we did not mind it. They had the Food and Wine Festival going on, and that was nice, to see. Dan and I necessarily did not participate in, tasting the wines from the different countries or the foods, but just seeing everything and seeing people enjoy their, time, that was nice. You've heard me many times on here say that Dan and I, we just like sitting back and people watching, especially the little kids when they see all the characters. What else do I want to share with y'all? Weather was beautiful. We had sunshine every day. In the evenings, once the sun went down, it got a little cooler. There was a couple of times that I had my cardigan. I brought my black one that I wore, and a couple of times I wore a pullover. But the weather was absolutely beautiful. Couldn't have asked for more beautiful weather. The new tower going up, if you're new to my channel, our home resort for Disney Vacation Club is the Poly. The new tower going up, wow. Okay, so yeah, they could have done, they could have put something more at the top to make it blend in more with the ceremonial house and the other log houses. I don't know. My throat's getting dry. I don't know if they will, maybe improve on that later. But what I can tell you is when we went over to Saratoga Springs Resort to see the models there at the Disney Vacation Club Welcome Center, we liked the rooms. We thought they were bright, they were airy, they were colorful, and I recorded some of that for y'all, but we really liked them. The studios are very similar to the studios now at the Disney Polynesian DVC area, except they're more roomy, where you have like your coffee and sink. The countertop is bigger. What do I want to say? It's brighter in colors and lighter colors. It's not, the dark wood that you currently have. And then when you go to the 1-bedroom villa, that's really nice. It's got a full kitchen and full refrigerator, dishwasher. I personally am not somebody who does dishes in Disney or cooks in Disney. I don't go to Disney to work in the kitchen. I guess if I had small ones and they were picky eaters, yes. Dan and I, no. But it has a full refrigerator, a nice size washer and dryer, 2 bathrooms, king size bed, which is nice because right now the studios at the traditional DVC have queens. What else? And then when you combined, because you can combine the single studio with a deluxe 1-bedroom villa, you get a lot of sleeping space, and you go from having, 2 bathrooms to 3 bathrooms, and you just have a lot more space. So if you're somebody who plans on going with a larger family, I would definitely look into getting the 1-bedroom villa with the connector of the studio. It really opens up the space even more. We didn't get to actually walk into the tower. They were still working on it and doing construction, but getting to see the models was a real treat. And we liked doing that. Seeing the gingerbread house for the 25th anniversary over at Grand Floridian was really nice too. And I loved how they had all the figures, and they had the Santa Claus. He was all done up in chocolate. And the overall gingerbread house was just beautiful. I got some 25th anniversary gingerbread souvenirs that I'll share with y'all, but got that. And as far as what else? Tron, we rode Tron, and I have to agree with others that ride is not long enough. We loved it though. I didn't even feel like I was on a roller coaster, actually. I told Dan, I felt like I was just like gliding. It felt so smooth, like I just felt like I was gliding across, glass. But I also felt like, and Dan did too, that no sooner do those doors open, and if you have rode Tron, then but no sooner did those doors open and you're outside, was I enjoying being outside looking around, and I'm back inside. And it's like, that was it, you're back in, you're in Tron, and you're trying to take it all in. and then the ride's over. So I do wish it was a little bit, longer. What else did we do? Got to ride Big Thunder Mountain before it shuts down, and got to ride the big steamboat. I heard that that's going away. Big Thunder Mountain is shutting down in 2025. They're going to do major overhaul on that. So we were glad that we got to ride that because that's one of our favorite roller coasters in the Magic Kingdom, other than Tron now. But we didn't do Space Mountain this trip. I don't know what it is, but it's just getting rockier. I feel like it just jerks you everywhere. It's like one of those old-fashioned roller coasters. I really wish they would revamp that. You can let me know if you think they should revamp Space Mountain. I think they need to do an overhaul on that and make that a much smoother roller coaster ride. I like it. I like the dips and the turns and stuff, but that just rocky feeling, no, not after you're riding some of the other more up-to-date coasters that they now have in Walt Disney World and other Disney parks. What else did we do? Shopping, as y'all can see, we did some shopping. I got some things, Dan picked up some stuff, and we got gifts for people. I'm just going to share with you the stuff I bought. I'm not going to share the things that we bought for people, and Dan's like, oh, you don't have to share my stuff, so I'm not going to share his stuff. Yes, I bought a Loungefly, and I bought a Disney Dooney and Burke. I might film that after this one, so you might see me in the same outfit. But overall, we had a great time. The Ale and Compass was the only restaurant, like I said, that was new for us. I'm trying to make sure the cake shop, the cake bake shop. That I'll show you. So it'll be in my video, the actual cake, but I don't give a review. So the cake bake shop, here's the bag that the cake came in. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about what everybody's talking about as far as the pricing of the cake. It's your money. Do what you want to do with it. I look at it this way. I'm in Disney. I'm getting the cake in Disney. I'm getting it at the boardwalk. When has anything in Disney ever been, regular price of what you're going to find on the outside? It's Disney World. And I look at it as it is what it is, and how you choose to spend your money is your choice. But I will say that the cake was good. Dan and I got the Millionaire cake. I was getting ready to say the Millennium. We got the Millionaire cake. And I show that in the video, and I don't cut into it or anything because I show it to y'all and it's going to go right in the refrigerator because we didn't eat it right away. But the overall cake for us, and again, it's all about your perception or how you perceive something. What I think is sweet, you may not. What you think is sweet, I may not. I don't like cakes, and neither does Dan, that has tons and tons of regular old-fashioned buttercream icing, like the kind you find on an old-fashioned wedding cake with that almond flavor. Dan and I do not like layers of thick icing. This had icing, but it reminded us more of our cake when we got married. When Dan and I got married, we had more of a whipped cream icing. It was not a traditional icing. It was almost like a Cool Whip icing. It was light and it was airy. That was what was on this cake that we got, and I'm speaking to the Millionaire cake. The icing was more like what you would find in the middle of a manufactured Twinkie that you buy off the supermarket shelf, or what you would get. Some people say the Swiss Miss rolls, I've heard people say that, those are the ones that are manufactured that you get off the supermarket shelf. That type of cream texture, or what you would find in a chocolate eclair. If you've ever had a chocolate eclair or a made from scratch donut at a fresh bakery with the cream in the middle, it was like that. So it was light and it wasn't like extremely heavy. The ganache that was on the outside was not super thick, but you could pull it back from the icing and eat that separate. That probably had the most sweetest taste to us, but it was a smooth, silky texture. The actual cake itself was very, very moist. It was not dry at all, and the cookie crumble between each chocolate layer blended in nicely with the chocolate cake. And then they had caramel, or some people say caramel, drizzle. Would I get that cake again? It's not something that the next time I go to Disney, I have to go to the cake bake shop and get a piece. Okay? It's not something that that has to be on my to-do list. I have to have that cake because while it was really good, it wasn't, in my opinion, the best cake that hit my palate, but it was good. And if you want to try a piece of cake and you want to say I tried something from the Cake Bake Shop in Walt Disney World on the boardwalk, then yeah, sure, go in, get a piece. What I did find interesting is the pieces are already cut, they're already boxed, and they're already ready to go. They display them on the top, but like when we asked for a slice of the Millionaire cake, she literally, went down, grabbed it, and brought it out. And it was already boxed. It was cold, so she got it out of a cooler, and it was ready to go. So I kind of found that interesting, that these pieces are just ready to go out the door, and they're not cut, right there in front of you and packaged right there in front of you. They're ready to go. So the reality is, I don't know how long that piece had been sitting in the, cooler, I don't know. So like I said, it was good, but I've tasted many chocolate cakes in my lifetime and different icings, and it's not the absolute best I've ever had. But again, it was in Disney. It was at the Cake Bake Shop, and we really wanted to try it. And I don't necessarily know if the Cake Bake Shop will be on our itinerary next trip. We'll see. But it's not a have-to place that we have to go to. Some people compare it to Gideon's. I've had a sample before. I've never gotten a whole piece of cake from Gideon's in Disney Springs. I've had a sample when they have given out samples. And I don't care for Gideon's cake at all. Now, some of you may be like, oh, no, I just don't. Unless the samples they were giving out were just, maybe there was a reason why they were giving those out. I don't know, but I don't care for Gideon's. And I've walked in there their cakes just don't look appealing to me. They look dry. I don't know. Let me know. They seem dry to me. But in the chocolate samples that they were giving out, I felt like I was eating chalk. That's how dry the sample was. But, to each their own, right? We all have an opinion when it comes to food, especially because we all have, our own personal palate. So, but yes, that is my review also on the Cake Bake Shop. And let me see. I don't think there's anything else really that I want to share in the week. Oh, yes, I do. Dan and I used a car service this trip, and we absolutely loved it. And we will definitely be using that again. We don't use Mears Connect. Last trip we used Lyft. We tried a car service. Like I said, each trip we try something to see if we like it. This trip we added a day, And this trip we did a car service. We used Magical Shuttles. Magical Luxury Shuttles. Sorry. I know they don't know I'm mentioning them in this video, but we absolutely loved it. They pair you based, if you're like, well, how much did it cost? It's based on the number of your party, how many pieces of luggage you have, and your destination, but they match you up with a vehicle, and then based on the vehicle and all the other information I just mentioned, that's how they match you up, and then you get a price quote. So my quote could be very different from yours. I will say Dan put 2 adults, 3 pieces of luggage, three carry-ons. I had a backpack in my Vera Bradley duffel bag, and then Dan had a backpack. So it was three pieces of luggage and 3 carry-ons, 2 adults, and a Cadillac Escalade picked us up. So that's what we were matched with. They said that, I asked them, you know, how big are your vehicles? They said that they do have Yukons and Suburbans and vans, and then the Escalades. So they have a wide variety of vehicles depending on the party size. They meet you down at baggage. They have a little sign with your party's name on it. But Magically Luxury Shuttles treated us really well, and we plan on definitely using car service when we head back to Disney again. So that's about it, guys, that I wanted to share with y'all on the recap. Thank you so much for stopping by today and hanging out with me. So till next time, y'all have a magical day and a magical week, and I will see y'all later. Bye, guys. Take care.